This is Inside Badger Football with head coach Trey Shucker. Inside Badger Football is brought to you by Bell Wealth Services, Welch Funeral Home, Austin Wingfield State Farm, Southern Bancorp, Southwest Sporting Goods, the accounting firm of Turner, Rogers, Manning, and Plywood, Taylor King Law, Pricing Company, Doctors Rob and Gary Rucker, Eccles, Thompson, and Kneebone, Certified Public Accountants, Clark County Farm Bureau, South Central Connect, Java Primo, Southwest Auto Collection, R&T Dixon Enterprises, Arkadelphia Tire and Outfitters, Patterson Federal Credit Union, Bats and Signs, Sonic of Arkadelphia, Dairy Queen, Pediatrics Plus, Rise Counseling, and Print Mania. The host of Inside Badger Football is Chase Hartzell.
Hello and welcome to this playoff edition of Inside Badger Football with Trey Shucker. I'm Chase Hartzell, joined as always by Arkadelphia head coach Trey Shucker. Coach Shucker, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's always good to be here, especially this time of year in the playoffs.
Absolutely, and for round one, a little bit of deja vu because it was the same matchup from last year, the first round of the 2021 4A state playoffs against Clinton at Badger Stadium. But right from the get-go, there was a similar start offensively, getting a big play, this time from Kyle Reed instead of Ja'Shawn Davis.
Yeah, you know, it's a similar look from last year. We ended up getting the first play of the game executed really well, and then Kyle had a huge run, ended up scoring the first offensive play of the game.
And in this matchup, one thing that was really different is that for most of last year's matchup, at least in the first quarter or so, it really looked like Clinton was right in that ball game from the get-go and even got back into the game and even took the lead at one point. But in this one, you just didn't see that. What was the difference between the 2022 matchup and the 2021 matchup? Was there efficiency on one side of the ball or the other? Was it just an overall team effort? Was there anything that really stood out?
Well, I think it's just the way we're playing right now. I think we've got a lot more momentum coming off of a conference championship win the previous week, and having that one seed and that confidence going into it. I know we had talked about it in the past. Having that confidence going into the playoffs is huge, and I think having that for us is really big for us and plays in our favor.
And at this time of the year, getting to play in front of the home fans, I'm sure is great. And this is a place that Arkadelphia hasn't gotten to play since nearly a month ago because of how the scheduling worked out this year. 2 road games to finish out the regular season, along with the unusual bye weeks as well. But what does that mean to play in front of the home crowd at Badger Stadium for playoff games like that, including another one here this next week?
It's huge for us. We always have great support. It's always a big night and a big environment in front of our home crowd. Anytime we get a chance to play in Badger Stadium, we feel like we've got a great opportunity to win. And we're very fortunate, very happy that we get to do it again.
And one of the keys to playoff success is having not only your veterans step up, your seniors, but also having some of your underclassmen step up as well, juniors and sophomores. Can you talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, Friday was one of those situations where had a lot of different people score. Had a lot of plays being made by a lot of underclassmen and younger players, and so it was a big overall team win. Yes, we've got a lot of great seniors that make plays and have all season, but Friday was one of those opportunities where had some younger guys step up and make plays themselves, and we're excited about those guys moving forward and into this week as well as the future.
A lot of guys making a lot of big plays this week, and we're going to take a look at some of those plays right now because these are the highlights from the playoff game against Clinton. It's a little bit of a new touch there for the playoffs. The cold sparks running out onto the field.
Yeah, had the sparks flying, and that's how we want to start the game. We want to start off guns blazing, so we did that. I thought recovered the onside kick, the squib kick, and then first play of the game for us, first offensive play, executed up front very well, and then Kyle does the rest. Kyle's one of those backs that when he gets his stride going, he opens it up. He's hard to catch in open field, and you see it right there. Does a great job, finishes the first play in the end zone, really sets the tone for the rest of the game.
So Arkadelphia already up 7-0 at this point. Now it's the defense turn to get out on the field.
Big kick by Brock Curry, and then our cover down unit, just like we've been doing all year, gets down the field and does a great job of pinning the returner inside the 20.
Nice wrap up there from Max Wilson. He's had a really good last stretch of the regular season, and it looks like that momentum is carrying him into the playoffs as well.
Yeah, and this time of year, you know, teams are going to try to do different things and throw some wrinkles and trick plays in, and they started first play of the game trying to do like a halfback pass, but we did a great job of covering it downfield and then allowed Max to get back and get a sack.
And so here you see a variation of the wing T offense, something that is pretty familiar in 4A. You don't see it maybe as much as you have in years past, but still a lot of teams going with this method. And it was working pretty effectively for Clinton early on, but the defense made some good adjustments on the other side of the 50.
Yes, and we knew that they were physical. You know, that was their whole mo going into it, and that's what it's been their whole season is, you know, they want to be more physical than the other team, and they want to run the ball, get 3 yards in a cloud of dust. And then they've got an opportunity. They've got some good skill players on the outside where they'll lull you to sleep and take a shot down the field. And so they've got those big play abilities. You know, number 20 right there, wide receiver, one of the better players we've probably seen this year at the wide receiver position. Just a big body, probably 6'4", 6'5", and a great athlete. But, you know, their whole deal is they want to run the ball, lull you to sleep, and then hit you down the field. But our defense did a great job of matching physicality and getting them off the field. And, you know, there was a lot of plays put together. They kept getting short yards here and there and keep moving the sticks, but our defense ended up holding strong and got them off the field. And then, as you just saw, our offense was able to go out, and in a few plays, we found another deep ball by, you know, Donovan to Evan Bailey. Evan had his best game of the season so far, multiple touchdowns, a big one right there that we just saw.
So at this point, it's 14-0, and the defense looking to keep the momentum rolling. What role does an early score like that have in the momentum of a ball game like this?
It's huge, especially when you're going against a ball control offense. Getting that first score, getting ahead puts a lot of pressure on their offense to execute and keep moving the football. And if they don't do it, if we can get the ball back again and get another score, now they're down 2. And with ball control offenses, that's very hard to come back from. If you can get up early, you've got a really good opportunity to win the football game. And here's another big shot. Evan had a huge game for us. He had the hot hand, per se, Friday. We take another shot at him. Ended up not hooking it up, but Evan's one of those big play guys. He's a big, tall body. We come back to him right here and find him. Evan, he's a 6'3", 6'4" player himself, big body, just able to make plays, and he had a great game Friday.
And here with the PAT from Brock Curry, it's now 21-0. But something you may notice too from the play that didn't necessarily work out is that Evan Bailey was sticking with the ball even though he didn't come up with it. He had his eyes on it the entire time.
Absolutely. You know, Evan's one of those players he's increasingly gotten better throughout the season. He's one of those guys that teams have to account for just based off of how tall he is, especially down there in the red zone. You know, he's got that jump ball threat ability. Really good basketball player. You know, when we work it in practice, it's like, hey, go up and get a rebound off the rim. It's kind of what we tell him to do in practice when we're working our goal line stuff. Thought our offensive line did a great job of controlling the line of scrimmage. I thought we especially this time of year, we're playing physical football. You know, we always take pride in that, but especially now that you've seen it the past couple weeks, our offensive line has dominated in the run game. You know, we've done a great job in the past with our pass pro and things like that, but the run game, I've thought that we've gotten a lot of movement in the run game, allowed a lot of really good rush lanes for our running backs and quarterback to get downfield and run the football effectively. And our O-line's playing a great job right now.
And already at this point in the ball game, still in the first half, and 2 running backs have already reached the end zone, as the second score there was by D'Angelo Buckley. And that's not only a testament to the offensive line, but to the testament of the overall skill and depth at the running back position.
Yes, and that's one thing that plays in our favor on both sides of the ball is the depth that we've got. We've got a lot of guys that we can get in on defense, and we do. And then we've got some guys that we can rotate in on offense, and we've been getting those guys the ball a little bit more here lately. And those guys have developed throughout the season. Right here, you see D'Angelo Buckley with a big run again. Just kind of gets tripped up, but another big run to put us close to the end zone. And big catch right here by sophomore Jaquavis Purefoy. We've got sophomores in the game and juniors that are making big plays for us, along with our seniors. Our seniors lead the way with that. They set the tone. But we've got some young guys that are very, very talented that make plays, and it's not a junior high game out there. They're taking it against quality opponents, and Clinton's a quality opponent. Clinton does a great job at what they do, and so that just kind of shows you the talent level that we've got and the abilities that we can have to spread the ball around.
And really, you look at Clinton's resume going into this when they were the 5 seed out of their conference, but they were 5-3 in conference play, which really speaks to the quality of opponents that they've been playing as well.
Yes, and that we knew that they were a good football team, and still believe that. And they've had a great season. I know that they felt like they were better than a 5 seed, and I believe that as well. And just the way the conference shook out, that's just where they ended up. And but they're a good football team. They're very physical and good at what they do.
And here we do see the Yellow Jackets finally reaching the end zone for the first time of the night. It's now 35-7. But really, you looked at that drive too, and the Yellow Jackets were fighting for every yard that they got. Clinton, they had to take a slow, methodical drive to get down there. They made some good play calls down near the red zone, but even then it took a couple of opportunities to punch the ball in. Yeah,
our defensive line is one of the most physical and talented defensive line that you'll see. And it's very, very hard, especially in some of these run offenses that we see. It's very hard to run the ball against them. Our linebacking crew does a great job of making tackles and making the plays that we've got to make. And that's why we were able to rotate those guys in and keep people fresh and just kind of keep pounding the way we do on defense. And then you see offensively right there, big play by Evan Bailey getting upfield, and then Kyle Reed. We talk about some of the younger guys, sophomore for us, who's starting running back, able to take it on a quick screen. But we've got some really good, talented players that are young for us and make a lot of plays, along with our seniors.
We've just got a couple of highlights here from the second half as Arkadelphia was into the good sportsmanship rule at this point. And here we see backup quarterback Javian Garner getting a house call of his own on a nice play made on the fly that time.
Yes.
Had to roll out to the left, but made a good play in reaction to the defensive coverage.
Anytime that we're able to get some of the next team guys in, we love to do that. And, Javion, young talent, he's a sophomore. It's huge for him getting these high school reps, these varsity Friday night reps, especially in the playoffs. This is the type of atmosphere and the games where he develops and grow some confidence going into the future for him.
And there at the end of that drive, we also saw, or the end of the highlights, I should say, we saw the last interception on the last offensive drive from Tucker Guy, who was playing as part of the second string defense. Clinton kept the first string offense in for most of that last half, but the defense got some really good experience. Some of the younger guys got to get in there and make some great plays.
It's big. It's all about experience and just the development for those guys. Those guys put in, extreme effort and have developed really, really well throughout the season. Which Tucker, he's a guy that rotates in and plays. He's in the rotation with the first group. I mean, he's considered a starter. We've got about 6 guys that we consider starters at linebacker because they're all very, very good and they're all able to play, and we rotate them in. But Tucker was able to get a big interception there at the very end. It just shows, he's a junior. We've been talking about some of the younger guys that are making the plays for us. Friday night was a big game for some of those younger guys, and we love that. We love that it gives those guys confidence and experience to move forward and keep progressing.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that about the linebackers because everybody's gotten a good chance to play this year.
Yes.
And sometimes you look at that and you see maybe some linebackers are making more plays than others, but really everybody in this unit has stepped up no matter how much playing time they've got when they step into the game. Everybody's made at least one big play at some point over the course of the season, and oftentimes it's been multiple plays from multiple players every game.
Yes, and I know that there's always a debate whenever you have guys in a rotation, right? Whenever you get guys in rotation, some people might argue, well, if you got multiple guys at one position that you have to rotate, well, then you don't really have one. But the way we look at it is you know, we rotate six. We rotate six linebackers. Well, we feel like we've got six good linebackers. I'd say having six good linebackers is better than having no good linebackers. So we'd like to use them all, and that's what we do.
Strength in numbers for sure,
Yeah.
and that strength was key in a win like this. Again, the final score in that one, Arkadelphia 49 and Clinton 21. And Coach, a lot of good performances to choose from this week, but we've got some Badger of the Week awards right now.
Yeah. So our offensive player of the week was junior wide receiver Evan Bailey. Had two big touchdowns in crucial times of the game. Just had his best overall game. Very, very effective on offense. Great job catching the ball as well as blocking at times whenever he was needed to block. So just a huge, huge offensive day for him. Defensive player of the game was junior defensive lineman KD Young. You know, KD's been very, very consistent, one of our more consistent defensive players throughout the season. You know, he's a guy that if you talk to anybody that plays us, they know his number, and you know, they talk about how good he is, and he is. He's one of our best players on defense. Very, very consistent and just very disruptive. Had a very, very good game for us on the defensive side. Special teams player, senior kicker Brock Curry was perfect on PATs. Also had two touchbacks. You know, and those big, deep kickoffs are huge for us and huge when it comes to field position. When our defense takes the field and making the offense have a long drive and have to go a long ways to score. And Brock's a big part of that with how he's able to kick the ball as far as he can. And then our Badger Spirit Award winner this week is Hunter Blakeney. Hunter Blakeney is a junior offensive lineman for us. You know, he's one of those that comes in on the next group comes in, but does a great job at giving our defense a look and helping us with our scout team and always making our guys better. I mean, he's a guy that has developed throughout the season and we feel good about him on a Friday night as well. We're excited about what he can do in the future.
A lot of great award recipients this year, including Hunter, and congratulations to all of this week's winners. And you talked about that, Coach, about the youth and also just the depth at all these positions really speaks to the strength of both the offensive and the defensive line, because both of these units have really been playing their best football down the stretch this year.
Absolutely have, and you know, we had a lot of younger guys make plays Friday, but I think that's really a testament to our seniors. To be honest, our seniors do a great job of leading our team and helping our team in general develop. You know, they're not selfish guys that, you know, they want all the glory and attention. No, it's we're going to spread it around and, you know, make plays. Everybody get excited for everybody, and our seniors do a great job of that. And so, you know, that's a big part of the culture of our team. You know, we want to develop a culture that is team-based, not individual-based, and I feel like that's where we're at.
And the performance in that unit and all the units is really going to be key as the focus moves from this week's matchup against Clinton to the upcoming matchup against Ozark. Going to be an exciting matchup in that one. This is one that Arkadelphia thought that they might have last year. There was a potential for that one, but in the matchup between Ozark and Crossett ended up coming up on top, so the Badgers went to go see the Eagles. This year, the Hillbillies are going to be making the trip to Badger Stadium after what's been a very solid campaign for them, including a win against Mina, another 7-4A opponent, just last week.
Yeah, you know, Ozark's had a really good season. They're the two out of theirs, and they put up a lot of points. You see, you know, if you go through their schedule and who they've played, they've got some really good opponents that they've really taken care of business on, and they're very effective on offense. They've got a big offensive line, good quarterback, running back duo, just very, very physical team, you know, and we've got to do a really good job and match that physicality and hopefully exceed it. But we've got to be disciplined in what we do. We've got to be disciplined in all phases, offense, defense, and special teams. And so, you know, it's no different than any other week. But, you know, this time of year, the opponents start to get a little bit bigger and a little bit better. You know, the deeper you go in the playoffs, every week's a little bit better of a team. So we've got to have a good week of practice, and Ozark is a very good football team.
And just looking at that schedule, you saw a lot of 40s, 50s, and even sometimes up into the 60s.
Yeah.
This is an electric offense. You mentioned some of the talent on defense. What can we expect from this matchup as they match up with Arkadelphia in this one? What can we expect, you know, even from the atmosphere that we'll see in the second round matchup?
Yeah, you know, obviously in Badger Stadium, it's going to be a big atmosphere. It's going to be exciting. But what to expect from Ozark? You know, they're a ground and pound team with the ability to throw the football. You know, they do a lot of different formations and have a lot of different wrinkles to run the football and different ways to do it. But then they'll also run some play action and get the ball and get the quarterback out in space. You know, a lot of different ways that they do and run their offense. Defensively, they do a great job of running and tackling. They get to the football very well, and they do a great job of just keeping everything in front of them and getting to the football is really what they do.
Well, it's going to be a fun matchup between two of the top teams in 4A this year. Road to the Rock continuing for Arkadelphia again, this time at Badger Stadium. That game's going to be this Friday at 7 p.m. You can be able to catch that on ArkadelphiaBadgerTV.com. But of course, we encourage you to go out if you can and support the Badgers in person, because it's going to be a great crowd on Friday night, as it always is at Badger Stadium.
Sure is, and we're excited about it. We hope that everybody comes out. I know it will be cold, but come out and support us. It'll be a great game.
Well, Coach, until next time, good luck this week, and we're looking forward to potentially breaking out another win next week and looking forward ahead to what's left with the playoffs.
Yeah, we're worried about keep getting better every day and hopefully be the best team that we can be of the season this Friday night.
But until then, that's going to do it for this week's episode. We'll be back with more Inside Badger football soon. Until then, this is Chase Hartzell signing off, and on behalf of Coach Shucker, go Badgers.
Go Badgers.
Inside Badger Football is brought to you by Bell Wealth Services, Welch Funeral Home, Austin Wingfield State Farm, Southern Bancorp, Southwest Sporting Goods, the accounting firm of Turner, Rogers, Manning, and Plyler, Taylor King Law, Pricing Company, Doctors Rob and Gary Rucker, Eccles, Thompson, and Kneebone, Certified Public Accountants, Clark County Farm Bureau, South Central Connect, Java Primo, Southwest Auto Collection, R&T Dixon Enterprises, Arkadelphia Tire and Outfitters, Patterson Federal Credit Union, Bats and Signs, Sonic of Arkadelphia, Dairy Queen, Pediatrics Plus, Rise Counseling, and Print Mania. Inside Badger Football is produced weekly by the Ouachita Baptist University, Rogers Department of Communications, and the Ouachita Sports Digital Network.